What's up guys, it is that Pentagon. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at Red Riding Hood, otherwise known as Rubina, the Blood Hunt Maiden. I am a day behind on posting this video. I was almost 2 days behind, but I decided to record this last second. That being said, let's hop into it. Let's talk about her skills. I will start off by talking about her super weapon and kind of explaining how this works. So basically, it increases the bonus damage from hero skills by 20 up to 26% if you can max out the super weapon. So if you get all four upgrades, when the remaining squad size is less than 50%, this effect increases by an additional 39%, which is kind of crazy. I'm assuming this 39 is a flat rate and not an addition on the 26. I know it says it increases it by an additional 39%, but it might just be saying that because it's like it's overall increasing it by an additional 39. I don't know. I would assume it's not the 39 plus 26, but you guys get what I'm saying. In any case, if you guys do not understand how this skill works, basically when you look at her second half of her first skill, it has a when not garrison, it has a 60% chance to deal bonus damage to the target. The target 1 to 5 times, the damage factor going up to 5.1,000, and if you do have her transcended, her first skill transcended, it goes up to 5.6,000. And basically that's what it's referring to, so it just increases the overall skill damage, I guess, like the secondary skill shots you get off. But let's get into her skill in general. So her first skill basically how it works is it deals damage to the target, the damage factor being 9.5k if you max out the skill. If you do transcend it, you do get it up to 10,400, which is kind of crazy, especially considering that she does have bonus skill damage factor if she's not a garrison hero, which, to be fair, like, she's got a lot of skills that just, it doesn't make her appealing to be a garrison hero. That's all I can say. But obviously when she's not garrison, has a 60% chance to deal bonus damage. I already read that out. For instance, for each instance of this bonus damage the target takes within 5 seconds, the next bonus damage will reduce by 10% until it reaches a minimum of 40%. So basically, you can't deal the flat rate of like 5.1k damage factor each time. It will reduce the damage factor. But even then, the fact that you can release this multiple times potentially is just absolutely insane to me. But overall, this is kind of a really crazy skill when you really think about it, especially when you consider the fact that her super weapon buffs that bonus damage percentage by a potentially 39%, which is just crazy, especially since this is already a pretty good amount of skill damage, secondary skill damage, that you're able to like leash out multiple times potentially within succession, and then that skill damage is also being increased. It's just crazy to think about. But basically, now let's get into the second skill. So the second skill, during rallies, increases your rider squad HP by up to 34%. I believe this goes up to 40% if transcended. Yes, 40% during rallies, and increases the damage dealt to range squads by 5%, and if transcended, it increases it by 7%. This is just kind of crazy to me. Honestly, I do think like HP is the most valuable stat you can get out of like, attack, defense, HP. This is by far the most valuable, so this is just more appealing to me, and this does just tailor her more towards rallies. It also does, obviously increase range squad damage by an additional 5 to 7%, which is kind of crazy, especially when you consider that Ethan just came into the limelight. This does kind of set her up as if she's a counter to Ethan. I mean, I feel like Chasey and stuff is already there, but Chasey and Felix just aren't really doing it, at least not to the extent that you need to kind of counter somebody like Ethan who's just been released. So it's kind of crazy to have her just drop, but I mean, what did you really expect? So from reading this, what I interpret is when not garrisoned, you basically have the chance to use this skill 15 times, which I will say is limited by, I guess, if you're rallying. I guess you could reset your rally, which is pretty common in lower brackets, just resetting rallies because counter rallies are bound to come in. But I guess for your first 15 skill shots, you can increase your skill damage by 3%, which is still crazy. And when you also count in her transcended potential, you basically increase this by 3.5%, not to mention your rider squad damage reduction by 5% as well, which is just an addition onto the transcend. So it's just kind of crazy when you really think about it. I will say this is obviously, I'd say this is actually pretty useful in field combat because you're generally gonna, I feel like, get in and out of battles a lot. within 15 skill drops, that will already be dead. So I feel like this is more so useful, especially in like field combat. I will say on like rallies, this is still going to be useful. 3% skill damage increase is pretty insane. But when you consider something like G1, where you're potentially rallying for hours on a tower, right, that might not drop, I will say this is like a little bit less useful. It's still useful, but you know, it's going to be out of commission pretty quickly, or it's going to be less useful. You guys get what I'm saying. The fourth skill, it increases the rider squad attack by 38% during rallies and reduces the damage taken when you're flanked by 5.5%. And when flanked by more than 3 squads, it reduces the damage taken by flanked when flanked by an additional 3.5%. So you can reduce your overall flanked damage taken by 5.5%, but if you are flanked by more than 3 squads, so if let's say you're getting swarmed, your rally's getting swarmed, you get an additional flanked damage reduction kind of put onto you. So this, you know, is 5.5 plus 3.5 here. And when she's transcended, basically what ends up happening is it basically adds on this additional skill plus giving her an additional 4% squad attack, rider squad attack, but it includes when in a rally and attacked by squads that are not garrisoned. It has a 25% chance they deal more damage to the squads, this damage factor being 2.7k. This effect can be triggered on the same target only once in 3 seconds. So this basically makes her much more anti-swarm, which is kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, it's just crazy to me, guys. That's just crazy. This is just making her anti-swarm as well, meaning she's going to be an even more deadly rally. That's actually that's cool, pretty cool. Her awaken skill. Let me look at her normal awaken skill first. Her awaken skill, for every 15% of your squad size loss, it increases your rider squad defense by 4.5%. This effect can stack up to 6 times. This is insane. This is just insane. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, being able to just gain, I guess, defense. Though I will say, if this is a rally or something, this is less useful if like you're having competent rally captains, because normally if your rally's dropping too low, you're obviously going to just cancel the rally. And in all honesty, I probably would have just preferred a normal final skill, right, that maybe would increase let's say like skill damage or whatever the case, or like add an additional kind of thing onto my first skill. But I guess it is what it is. She's kind of OP as is, to be honest, or at least a lot of these skills are rally related, are pretty overpowered, so I can't really complain in any case. But basically when you transcend her, it increases the chance of triggering bonus damage with rage skills by 10%. So basically this goes from a 60% trigger rate to 70% trigger rate, which is even more crazy. And basically it just, you know, kind of does this 15% thing again, but instead of it going up by 4.5%, it goes up by 6.5%, or sorry, to 6.5% for every 15% of your squad size loss. Your rider squad defense increases by 6.5. That's an additional 2% stack on it. That's just crazy to me. I find this hero to be pretty solid, honestly. I think she's going to be a really good rally hero. I actually love this design. This is one of my more so favored designs in a while that I've seen them kind of release. So I don't know. You guys give me your thoughts on her. I do think that she's going to be a crazy good rally hero. I do think that this might be a pretty good counter to Ethan. And honestly, just swarmers in general as well, looking at these skills. But yeah, you guys drop your comments. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate any input you guys have. And I'll see you guys in the next video. That is about it. And peace out.